trialing this. This is not permanent partnering. You are showing me right now whether or not you can choose your own partners or whether we need to do random partners. When I look back like being a student, and if I were in your shoes, I would hope that my teacher respected me enough to say, like, all right, choose someone that you're going to work well with. I don't want to work with somebody that's a world smarter than me because I can't necessarily talk on the same level as them. I don't want to work with somebody that's like worlds lower than me. I want to find somebody kind of in my zone of development. What the proximal zone of development. I can't talk to them. So moving on from that, ZPD, right? Somebody that's close to your intelligence level, but that won't get you off task. There are staff members, coworkers, my coworkers that I can't sit next to in a staff meeting because we have too good of a time and we distract each other. I've identified that, and I intentionally sit next to them. So, like, you know, Mr. Down and Mr. Zinn back there make me kind of nervous, but they might be able to show me that, yes, they can work together. When I see two, 7th grade, 8th grade boys, they're like, oh, we're going to work together. It sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So, and I know I can pick on the two of them, so that's why I'm picking them. Yeah. Yeah, your new math journal. So if you don't have it, go get it. If you don't have a new spiral, new journal, whatever, go get it right now. You don't, and if you don't have one, I'll give you one. You're supposed to have 4. They should be, well, 3 now. They should be, well, 2 now. They should be in your locker.
Yeah, I don't use my locker. They're probably somewhere in my office.
Yeah, well, you have about 30 seconds to figure out that problem. I want to get you guys in the habit. If I'm starting something, I'm starting on the front of a page. Now, if you finish in the middle of a page and you can start something new on the front of a page, that's fine. But as you leave through, sorry, my focus keeps getting goofed up. As you leave through your journal, there we go. You want to be able to like, oh, what starts there? What starts here? What starts? So don't start something on the back of a page. So at the bottom right, just take a moment, starting on the first page of this notebook, page 1, next page, page 2, 3, 4, number all the way up to 20. Yeah.
For me, I do that. I have one page equals the same number, but I also have to link that.
I mean, you could do like 1.5, or I mean, that's fine. But for the, so we're going to make a table of contents, and we're only going to number page numbers of the fronts of pages.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, so just, if you're going to go rogue, that's up to you, but I'm going to tell you how I want it, and if you go rogue, that's up to you. Do not trust this. I'll actually put a post-it over that, because that's not for you guys. But the first 5 pages will be the same for all of us. Then, this is page 1. So what you're looking at up here for me is page 1. You can go ahead and label that pages 1 and 2 will be table of contents. Page 3 will be important equations. 4 and 5 are going to be left blank for now. Nice. Your guys' page 6 is where, well, okay, so everyone's page 6 is where today starts. But for you guys, what is today's lesson? 6.1.3, awkward, right? Because we're accelerated 7, we're skipping around a little bit. And really, it's about inequalities. Now, when we keep this table of contents, I'm going to be looking for a specific type of coding, kind of, with how we write things. Anything that starts with a number, that's going to be notes. That's going to indicate that's what we did in class. Anything that is practice work should start with either HW or PRAC. If you really like calling it practice, you can. Some kids are like, well, it's not homework because I don't do it at home. I don't care if you call it HW or if you start with practice. But it needs, so notice I showed my math 7. They're going to be HW 511. You guys are going to be HW 613. Right? So you could go ahead and put that in your table of contents right now. And you don't need to put inequalities or anything else after homework 613, you can just label it is homework 613. Those details will be on that page. Yeah, 4 and 5 we're leaving blank for now. Those will probably be important equations, and we might do some vocab on them. But so you should not be starting notes until page 6. You're starting notes on page 6, yeah.
For number 7, the homework 6.1.2.
You can if you want, but here's what I'm going to show you next thing. So we'll come back to pages like 2 and 3 and stuff. Flip to page 6. For you guys, our header for notes today would be 6.1.3. We are actually doing one variable inequalities. And if you can remember that INEQ stands for inequalities, which we don't really use that for anything else, you can abbreviate, just do INEQ. And of course, our date is 1/2/18. We would be hard pressed, which means it probably won't happen, to take over a page of notes in one class period. And even if we did, we could use the back if we needed to, which is why I can, with a fair amount of confidence, say that the next page will be the homework. So, and I didn't even do this well enough, you can kind of tell it's homework here, but page 7 then, we should have a 7 at the bottom, and we'll look for 7 at the bottom. Page 7, we're going to say will be our homework, so let's label it HW 6.1.3. And then, while you're waiting for class to start, or if I'm checking a previous night's homework or something, you should go ahead and put your header in your journal. Now, other teachers are probably going to string me up by my toenails when I say this, but I want you guys to not really need your plan book. Or your plan book is your source of what is my homework for everything. If you know you're going to do math, and you just grab your math journal, you should have your homework for the night already written down. So tonight's homework's 29 to 34. Before class starts, just go ahead and have the assignment written down in your math journal so you don't have to look at your plan book again. Now, I'm not saying don't fill out your plan book. You should still fill out your plan book. But if you have time, get it in your math journal so it's ready for you. So obviously this is the math 7s. I was showing them an example, and I don't want to change all my page numbers. So notice, I'll take questions in a minute. Notice in the table of contents, I have these little marks. What are those marks? Same, ditto marks, right? So that means page 2 will also be table of contents, because I don't know about your page 1, but I only have about 25 lines on here. We'll probably have more than 25 pages of stuff this quarter. I don't like using the backs of pages. That's a personal preference thing. If you want to, that's fine, but do not start new work on the back of a page. So then my second page, I label table of contents continued. If you want to go ahead and label that, go ahead and put a header on it. My third page, we're going to label important equations. And I have one in there for Math 7 this morning. But as we go through quarter 3, especially, I think you're going to need them for your homework. Or I might say, all right, for this test, you can use your equations page from your math journal. That's it. I might say that. So I'll say it again. You might want to care about this equations page because it could eventually become your cheat sheet. Yes. It is not actually cheating when your teacher says, yes, use this. But so as we go through and we say, all right, put this on your important equations page, you want to make sure you actually do it. Even if you already know it or in the moment, you're like, oh, I'll remember that. Write it down. Please write it down. Right. Page 4 should be blank. Page 5 should be blank. Page 6 should be where we're going to start notes today. Any questions on any of this? Yes. Not never, but we're never going to start content on the back of the page. So if I'm taking notes today, I take notes really big, and I'm like, oh no, we have 5 minutes left in class. I already labeled, well, first off, 5 minutes left in class. We're not going to do that much else. Then I would probably use the back of this page and just finish my notes there. But if I needed to, and if I already headed this page, just skip it, and you could use the next page And then just so that's page 8 for me then. So page 8, I could then say like, all right, 6.1.3 continued or whatever. Or I can bump this and move if I hadn't labeled the next one if you don't use the backs. Or if you want to use the back, that's fine as long as it's a continuation, not a beginning, not a start. Questions? Other questions? Natural? This is going to make life easier for all of us. I promise. Especially for me. But some of you or your peers had some issues keeping track of what was where and what they had done, and they did homeworks multiple times because they couldn't find the old one or they were out of order. This will help with all of it. Right. So if you get out of order, that's okay as long as it's documented here what is where. How do I find the assignment I'm looking for? We are going to start, and Mr. Smith may hang out and help me with this occasionally at the beginning of your guys' class. We're going to start checking homework probably every couple days, just like, okay, show me this one, show me that one. Like, I'll take a lap of the room and just like, all right, flip to it in your math journal, like, show me that, show me that. And it'll be fast, it'll be easy, it'll keep you guys on top of it. Because some of you guys, I think you don't really work well unless there's a little bit of pressure. And I maybe didn't put enough, like, I don't like putting lots of pressure on you guys, but some of you need a little bit of pressure, right? My pressure to get my kitchen done was we didn't have a sink that worked. Right? I couldn't cook food, but I had pressure. You having pressure to do homework, it's due. Right? When's he going to check it? I don't know. He'll check it at some point. So now you really want to think, like, I'm going to check it when it's due every couple days. So you guys have 2 business days. Tonight's homework, when could I check it? Not tomorrow, right? So I might check it Thursday. So you want to be ready. If I take a lap on Thursday at the beginning of class, I could check tonight's homework. And it should be done by Thursday. 2 business days. All right, let's dive into our lesson. We are only going to be in CC2 right now for like 2 days. Okay, so I know this is awkward. We're like at 613, we didn't do 611 or 612. You guys don't really need to because we're the accelerated class. So we are working with inequalities now, dealing with one variable. Everyone should have the inequality map in the back, and then we're probably going to end up grabbing some algebra tiles if you so choose. A lot of that I'm making your decision. So if you need a book or you need a sheet, go ahead and grab that. Now, I even told you guys which book you needed. I was on my A game today. 2018 starts strong. Except I have a hangman. Yes. If you still want to write notes for Bilal at the top, you can. Homework for Bilal. So, we were talking about headers. By the way, Kaylee's in our class now. She wanted to switch classes, and I'll never say no to people wanting to challenge themselves. So, Katie is in our class now.
Welcome to Accelerated.
Sorry, and not to confuse anyone. So this is Kaylee, but her last name starts with D, and we have about 4 Kaylees, so she's KD as opposed to KT. Well, but in my head, I have lots of Kaylees. Kaylee was a common name for a robot. A little bit in the early 2000s, Kaylee got really popular, like in the different spellings. I spell mine E-I-G-H. I spell mine Y. All right, so everyone's ready to roll now, except for Naya. What are you doing, girl? You okay? Let me just grab a book. As long as you put it back, just grab one. Just take a book. So we, before winter break, had been working all with expressions and equation maths, where one side was going to equal the other side, right? We're going to figure out what the variable is so that the one side equals the other. But what page are we on? For people still saying?
328.
328. There we go. So now, hold up. Give me your eyes. Give me your eyes for a second. Now, the left side and the right side will not be equal. And I need you to hear me because we're totally changing gears. Now, when we look at this, this is why your expression mat has this really fancy question mark in the middle. We don't know. It's not equal. So when we had the 2 lines down the middle, that was telling us that it was going to be equal. Now we're going to compare and see, well, which one is bigger? Which one is, can we figure out which one's bigger, which one's smaller? So Maria's been recording her work to see which side is larger. Garth looked at her work and he's like, what? So let's check out Maria's work and figure out what she did to mat A and mat B. So right, if we have, this is like, the space, the physical space. So talk with your partner. Easier to say talk with your partner than talk with your group. And I'm hoping partners makes things better with communication in the group. Some people were just kind of sneaking by without really talking to people. You guys are going to want to pair up. I said at the beginning of class that we can't be alone, so we're going to want to pair up. Don't make me do it. I will. Figure out, did they do the work right? What work did she do? And then can we figure out which one is greater? Okay? So go for it. Is Maria's work right? Like what she did, the process she followed, and then can she figure out which one's better? Because we're trying to compare, right?
Yeah. So what she she subtracted 2 from each side. So she subtracted the 2 from each side first.
Oh, wait.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then in that she did are these? They're supposed to subtract the same amount from each, or do the same thing for each side, correct?
If we're doing something that involves both sides. Sometimes we only do something that only needs to happen on one side. So, what you're asking is, how did I go from step 1 to step 2? From step 2 to step 3, step 3 to step 4? Was it all good, clean, no mistakes? So, if we look at mat A first, let's dive in. Bougainville, you're going to pick on you because your card's up and you don't have a partner back there with you. So, Bougainville, mat A, step 1 to step 2. What'd she do? Added like terms. So we combine. We like to say combine as opposed to add. But yeah, we combine like terms, right? 2 constant values, a 2 and a -6, got us our -4. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Mat B did the same thing, right? 2, -8, got -6. Perfect. Ian, what'd they do next? From steps 2 to step 3.
Oh yeah, and then they took away 2x.
Ah, they took away 2x from both sides. So now this is where we do something on both sides. Whereas over here, this was over there, combining like terms, over there, combining. Now we're subtracting 2x and subtracting 2x. Now, from step 3 to step 4 is in.
What she did!
I understand.
Now they add 4 to get rid of the -4, add 4 to get rid of the -4, and we end up with 3x on one mat and -2 on the other. So which one's bigger? We don't know what x is. Well,
I would just like to say everyone should appreciate how excited we got when we understood.
it's that light bulb moment.
Damn!
It's the light bulb moment. It's like when you got your money's worth. All right. So now, you can use algebra tiles if you want. I'm not going to make you because some of you are like, hey, do I really have to get these out? So if you want, use algebra tiles. Here's the 2 expressions that we have. So hold up, and then I'm going to release you guys. And really, if you just want to start rolling, and if you finish this one, move to the next one, move to the next one. We'll keep coming back together. So here's what we got. 2 plus 2x plus a -3. And then a different expression, 2x and -4 and 1. We want to compare those, see if we can figure out there which one's bigger. And if we can, use the appropriate symbol. Remember, the gator eats the bigger value. And if you get done with 24, move on to 25. Have at it.
Wait, We should put it in the same order first.
I'm coming. Give me a second. I'm just switching these around. Alright, what's up? What do you mean got the plus? How we did the plus roll on both sides? So that was saying that I can do anything I want to both of these. Like when we work physically with the mat, I can bring things in, I can take things out, I could double. As long as I do it to both sides, it doesn't change it. So it might change what it looks like, it might change what's there, but it stays the same expression. So if you have like something on the left side and something on the right side, and you add, let's say we're talking about money, and you add a quarter over here, and you add a quarter over there, both of them increase by the same amount. So they'll still have the same relationship they had before, because you did the same thing. Like double this side and double that side. They'll both have the same relationship because they're just twice as big.
So we were figuring out what she did for the side.
Yeah, and or in 23 we were analyzing like what did she do? What
I
algebra?
thought you were saying if she got
So we were checking that too because Garth couldn't figure it out. So sometimes we always have to look for errors, right? So we gotta be careful that they did the work right. Because sometimes in CPM they're making us catch mistakes. Her work was all good. So she subtracted. How'd she get that 2x? How'd she get rid of that 2x? That 3x? Here, to get rid of that 2x, she subtracted 2x from both sides. So we wrote that up there. Then she added 4 to both sides. She's making 0 pairs. So instead of subtracting 2x, you think of it as bringing in negative 2x, like we were doing physically with the files. And we'll write out all the algebra for this one. So get these 2 expressions written on your paper, and then we'll do it together. Yeah.
And we got different answers.
but the both distracted.
If you got different answers, that's concerning, but give me just a second.
Okay.
Because it depends on how different the answers are.
Very.
To keep our life easy right now, we're doing all addition between things. So even if it's negative, we're writing add the negative. So I've got my 2 expressions in 2 different colors. I'm going to write in red what we are doing on both sides. So all we do is do something on one side. I'm not going to write it in red. I'll just rewrite the expression. What can I do to start here? We always have to look, can I simplify, right? Rachel, can I simplify anything here?
Well, like you can combine like the whole numbers, because like -3 plus 2 would be -1.
Yeah, look for like terms. 2 and -3 are like terms over there, and -4 and +1 are like terms over here. Now remember, these are 2 different sides, so there's like some split here. Combine your like terms. This gives us a -1, so 2x and a -1. This will give us 2x and a -3. Okay, so I didn't do anything on both, well, what I did on both sides was just combine like terms. I didn't do anything. Now, I might physically want to do something on both sides.
Oh, you might want to cancel out the 2x.
Yeah, I can get rid of a 2x if I either subtract 2x or, exactly what Alana said, if I bring in a negative 2x. So you could either write -2x or add -2x. The easier way to write it is -2x. If I have 2x's and I take them away, there are none now. And we have to write it on both sides. It has to happen on both sides. So then my left side now has the -1, and my right side now has -3. Now be careful. Many, many, many people get this wrong. Belong.
The mat A is greater.
But 3's bigger.
Yeah, but it's in negative numbers, and if you're thinking of a number line, it's closer to it's higher.
Yeah. Think about which is higher. Which is higher up the number line. So, -1 is higher up the number line. We would say -1 is greater than -3. Which actually means that way up at the top, this was already true. Once we solve it, we know that that was actually true the whole time. Yeah.
It would also be true when you had the 2x.
It would. It's true the whole time. Yes. That inequality symbol stays there. Now, the dangerous thing is when we're solving, when we're doing stuff, that symbol can flip, but we're not there yet. I think we get there tomorrow. So please add that. Some of you don't have the gator symbol. Please have it down there, and you can write it in at the other spots if you want. Questions on this? Now look at Maria's mat from 25. Now that we understand the process a bit better, try this again from 25. If you already did 25, keep rolling. Oh, we will be going over the masteries on Friday, by the way. I'm surprised nobody asked.
I forgot about it.
No, because I'm not done with them yet. If we're going to be honest, the kitchen consumed literally every moment of my break. I am done now, except for Christmas Day. I took Christmas Day off. We watched movies and maybe later. I'll show my advisor tomorrow. But yeah, so Friday we'll go over the mastery, because I'll have them done by now.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring though.
I mean, we are solving, right? So when we find values for x, that's part of the solution process. Yeah. Sorry, go again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just giving feedback. Right? Yeah, don't stress out about grades.
So -2.
Hey, so there's a few parts to work through here. I just want to grab your attention for a second. Realize there are a few parts here. Hold on a second. There's a few parts here. The hardest part of this is D, where it starts, well, actually C and D. But C says you need to find multiple numbers that make this true. There's not one answer. There are many answers. So please give this some attention. I want you guys to try this without my help first. Then I'll help you and we'll walk through. So please work on it on your own. I'm going to start writing some notes up here. Thanks. I wanted you guys to see what's in there. So we're thinking about this like belonging to two different people. It's like if I take 2 away from you, I gotta take 2 away from you, otherwise it's not fair. That's the part I'm thinking back to. This is making more sense now that we did it together. Okay, that's what I was just trying to do. With your ready for anything?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Totally positive 5. My B. It still messes me up. The old models that we used to use shaded them. I like that empty means negative now, but. And cards. Ava, what can I do first?
Well, you can combine like terms for that one, and that one just stay the same.
Yeah, so I can combine these like terms over here. So this becomes 2x and.
Oh, and no, sorry.
Positive 2, right? Because we had positive 3 and a negative. All good. And the right side, yeah, doesn't change. I wrote this kind of in a weird way, so I'm going to clean it up, and it's just x plus 5.
Oh. What?
Because I had written plus negative 5, and then somebody corrected me that it was actually plus positive 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Sorry.
Now, yeah. I guess that's going to be Naya's guess. Okay, so Naya tells me the next thing I can do, since I only... Now, hold up, because this is a good question. I could take an x away from both sides, right? I can. I can do whatever I want as long as I do it to both. I could also take 2 x's away from both sides if I want. But then that'll make it negative x, and that gets messy. That would be okay. But it's messy. We don't want to do that. So, we subtract x, and we subtract x. We do that, our left side now becomes just 1x and a 2. And my right side is just the 5. Zach, what can I do now? Add a negative 2, or another way I can think about that, just subtract 2. And we get that x compares with 3, but not equal. This is not equal. Now, Maria and Garth were disagreeing, but then we get to part B or C, and it tells us, all right, Maria's right. Of course, girls always right. Swear, if you're going to get married, that's like rule number 1. Maria's right? So Mat A is greater. They then tell us, actually fill in this. Right? This was true all along. Mat A was greater. Yes? I have a couple weird faces. Yes? Yeah, I know my face is just weird, but you guys are looking at me weird. Okay. Now, hold up. So I'm going to give you another minute because some of us didn't finish this. Our job right now is figure out some values of what x could be so that this is true. Not that x is 3. X relates with 3. So take a moment. If you haven't figured this out yet, what could x be? According to part C, are we allowed to? I'm not going to answer that for you. Yeah. What? That's not 4 values. Give me 4 numbers that it actually could be. Okay, sit down. Alright, so Bouvier asked a really good question. Stop. Bouvier said, so can I put the line under it? Can I put the line under it? The line. Okay, also, first off, what do we mean by the line under it? Ouch! Hold on. Are you guys going to be able to be partners? Okay, just check. Because there's a couple of groups that I'm a little nervous with. How does this compare to that? And not that that's a Z, sorry, that looks bad. But these, right? Those symbols, not Z's, but greater than, right? We already talked about that. Is the line. And some people draw them like this. I don't know, kind of. Doesn't matter how you draw it as long as it shows the line. Alex, what's that line do?
It means that it can either be greater than or equal to the number that is being presented.
Yeah, so here would be my request, if you're going to draw the line, and here we shouldn't, and we'll talk about that in a moment. If you're going to draw the line, make the bottom of your inequality symbol straight so that it does that. Because then it actually looks like it equals, so greater than or equal to. The line says my x, or my variable, can actually equal this number. Is that true in this situation?
No.
No, the left side is bigger, so we cannot have a line.
You could,
So, yeah.
you could do that with C when it says find the least formula for x that would make the expression true.
So now we're actually going to say what x equals, or could equal.
Could do that, except S is the oh my god, I can't talk.
Are you going to say like greater than or equal to like 4?
Yeah.
But you're wrong. Now that's the temptation. I love it. Thank you for saying that. But what number is greater than 3? And immediately everyone's going to say
7. 5.
right. But what about
3.0000001.
right? Couldn't it be 3.5? Couldn't it be
I just
3
proved myself
point
wrong.
anything bigger? So you could literally have 3.000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000000 and 1 at the end, that is bigger than 3. So be careful. The temptation is, oh, okay, so x is bigger than or equal to 4. That's only if we're working with whole numbers. We're working with all numbers right now. So x could be 4, right? X could be 7. X could be 8,242. Doesn't matter. Bigger than, it could be pi. Questions? So as we do more of this, you got to get used to how they're going to give it to you. So look at part D. Hold up, check out part D. Part D is how they would give it to you. Right, so they give you, this is called an inequality, because it's not an equation, right? They're not equal to each other, but it behaves almost the identical form of an equation. There's one big difference. And the danger to watch out for is when we multiply or divide on both sides. And we'll see that. We'll get there. Carla had a hard time in that problem. We already kind of talked about this, though. We are going to draw a graph of this now. So I want to know what you guys know or don't know. We're trying to represent 25 graphically. You're going to try to show the answer, not tell the answer, not numerically, graphically. Because as Will came up here and he said, well, it could be 3, or it could be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, it can't be 3, right? But it can be anything bigger than that. Try to graph this. Do you know how we would do this? I'm only going to give you about a minute. If you don't know, then you just don't know. I got to show you. So I will pull this up and leave that there for a moment, since you don't directly have that in your book. Actually, for the sake of time, because I want to respect that you guys got to get to your next class, the way that we would graph this needs to go in your notes. The way that we would show this on a number line. Please draw a quick number line in your notes, because this is part of your homework and you need to know it. Doesn't matter. All we're going to put in the middle of it, put a 3. Can my x be 3? No, we already talked about this. So put an open circle.
No.
What direction am I going to shade, right or left? Right. Squiggle it. I do not care if it looks fancy. Then put an arrow at the end of your squiggle. That tells you anything in the squiggle or above it is allowed, but the 3 is not allowed. Then it is included. Then it has the line under the symbol. Because we're out of time, that's all we're going to get to today. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful day. Hasta luego. Tienes un buen día. Friday. We're going to give all that back Friday. I wanted to dive back into content. I miss you guys. I mean, honestly, I'm not done. I did not rush myself. So I'm trying to have low amounts of stress in 2018. I don't know who put their paper on my desk. I don't need it. It's not me. Yeah. Means you're using your legs too much.